But then she's Secretary of State many years later, and they go in and use Al-Qaeda and ISIS to take over a country, put women back into sex slavery, kill black Libyans, because the Islamicists are very anti-black. And then Hillary brags about she came, she saw, Gaddafi died. Here it is.
I mean, that is the land of unconfirmed.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
Did it have anything to do with your visit?
No, I'm sure it did.
So she's bragging about, like Obama said, I'm really good at killing people.
Clinton says she usually never paid attention to her critics, but what she calls the conspiracy fetishizing of the 2016 campaign was different. She says she heard just how different it was from lifelong friends who were out knocking on people's doors.
They'd say they were there asking that the person vote for me, and the person might say something like, well, I couldn't do that, she's a murderer. And you know, I mean, friends from grade school saying, no, she's not. Oh yeah, I saw it on the internet. Well, wouldn't you think I'd been, as they used to say, locked up by now if that were the case?
Now, if you don't know about Hillary Clinton and her whole past, it's incredible. But she calls for more censorship by big tech and conservatives. She says she lost the election because of, yours truly, internet conspiracies. And she said that when people went to knock on doors for her, they'd say, I can't vote for you, you're a murderer. And she doesn't even really deny that. Now, Hillary, I don't think's ever killed anybody herself. She just had somebody do it for her. But they set Muammar Gaddafi up, had him come in out of the dark. Obama lied to him. Then they set him up and killed him. And then she went there and bragged, I came, I saw, he died. She then funded the Arab Spring to bring down the whole Middle East and kill hundreds of thousands. We're not going to play that clip first, though. Let's play Madeleine Albright, Secretary of State, when Hillary was co-president with Bill, and she also worked at the State Department, and Madeleine Albright went on national television on NBC and on 60 Minutes, CBS. There's two different clips of this. And said 500,000 dead Iraqi children is a good price to pay. Because if you thought George Herbert Walker Bush put sanctions on Iraq, in the 8 years of the Clintons, they put sanctions on them that killed over 2 million people. Because that's a desert country, 95% of it. They were shipping in their fertilizer, their medicine, everything. So she gets asked about 500,000 kids, and Hillary Clinton, mentor, was working for Hillary at the time. Madeleine Albright says it's a good price to pay. Then Hillary goes in front of this crowd of fawning sycophants and wannabe elitist and makes a joke about all this. It's just incredible. Hillary Clinton, you are a murderer. You are a criminal. You've bragged about it. You know it. You're a ruthless person. These are just times you bragged about killing, or your associates bragged about your policies that killed millions. So here it is.
We have heard that 500,000 children have died. I mean, that's more children than died in Hiroshima. And you know, is the price worth it?
I think this is a very hard choice, but we think the price is worth it.
So that's 1996, May 12th. That's Hillary Clinton's buddy and her policies that did this. But then she's Secretary of State many years later, and they go in and use Al-Qaeda and ISIS to take over a country, put women back into sex slavery, kill black Libyans, because the Islamicists are very anti-black. And then Hillary brags about she came, she saw, Gaddafi died. Here it is.
I mean, that is the land of unconfirmed.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
Did it have anything to do with your visit?
No, I'm sure it did.
So she's bragging about, like Obama said, I'm really good at killing people. So he didn't actually drop the bombs from the Predator drones. He just gives the order. So does she. So let's go to that clip first. Here's Hillary Clinton saying that internet conspiracy theories lost her the election. You mean people knowing about you, lady? I mean, I've interviewed the individuals where the state police came to their house in Arkansas and broke their legs. I know the names of the people you had killed. You carried Oklahoma City, lady. I've had the police officers on the show who had the FBI that worked directly for Eric Holder come to their office and say, we're going to kill you and your wife if you don't shut up. And I looked at a highly decorated Marine Corps veteran, head of their K-9 unit, Don Browning, and he gulped and said the names of the FBI agents and said, I've never said that on air. And I just said, well, we're doubling down here, aren't we? So highly decorated Marine Corps veterans who had the FBI threaten to kill him and his wife, not once but twice, had never said the name, said it on the show. I know the names, Witch. I know all about it. We've interviewed the witnesses that saw the bombs being placed. We know who did it. So somebody's got to have the will to stand against you. And we do. And our listeners back us. And that's why you fear us. But let's go to her saying she never killed nobody. Like Tony Montana tells the corrupt cop in Scarface, no, you never killed nobody. You just had somebody else do it for you, didn't you? Here it is.
So even though I lived through all those years of ridiculous, baseless attacks and got elected to the Senate, ran against Barack Obama, who turned around and asked me to be his Secretary of State. So people who know me, people who work with me, know that's all baloney. But if you're 10, 20, 30 steps removed, and your Facebook feed is telling you that I'm dying or whatever their lie is of the day, enough people think, well, you know, that might be true.
Let's stop there again.
So when people...
And that's why Paul's banned, because Drudge first asked, before we ever did, years before, because Hillary had brain surgery. Hillary disappeared for 2 years almost. I mean, it was fair game for John McCain or Ronald Reagan. And then she's falling down all the time. And so we said, does she have another brain tumor? Is she really sick? She looks like hell. Whether we were right or wrong as Americans, we have a right to ask that, and people want that asked. But that's why they took us off Facebook. Was Biden said not one but 2 major brain surgeries. Doctors said he had a 50% chance of recovering the last time. He had part of his brain removed, and he was slurring all his words. And we said, as he had another stroke. It got 20 million views on Facebook. Because the public wants to ask questions about that. Let's continue.
Media made a difference. Yes, we do. There's increasing academic research that shows people believed this. The people who were influenced, could be influenced, believed it.
Pause again.
So take me out of the equation.
Yeah, take you out of the equation. No one believes known liars like you anymore. And people know that I legitimately ask questions. Doesn't mean my question's always right. Most of the time it is. I'm asking the same questions our audience is, Witch. So Hillary still won't admit she lost because people don't like her. Madam President. And her fawning minions are up there in New York watching her basically run for president again. She's also in New Hampshire. And so she says yesterday that InfoWars, basically, conspiracies online, cost her the election. She says she wants more censorship. And then she says people go to doors knocking for her in 2016, and people said, oh, I can't be for her. She's a murderer. But I just played you clips of her directly involved in the murder of millions. Here it is.
Clinton says she usually never paid attention to her critics, but what she calls the conspiracy fetishizing of the 2016 campaign was different. She says she heard just how different it was from lifelong friends who were out knocking on people's doors.
They'd say they were there asking that the person vote for me, and the person might say something like, well, I couldn't do that. She's a murderer. And, you know, I mean, friends from grade school saying, no, she's not. Oh, yeah, I saw it on the internet. Well, wouldn't you think I'd been, as they used to say, locked up by now if that were the case? It's already starting online. You can already begin to see it, and you see what, you know, Ray and Dan Coates and others have been warning us about. It's slowly beginning to bubble. And of course, it's aimed at Democratic candidates. And so you have to be really careful consumers of what you read online, because it's going to happen again. You know, I met with a cybersecurity expert the other day who's, you know, not a political person at all, who said to me, if something is not done, the Russians are going to pick our next president.
Hit pause again. All that's a fraud. All that's a joke. And she just tells you the story. Oh, he's not even political. He says the same thing I say. This woman is a globalist selling the country out. just thank God her expiration date is almost up. Thank God we have a 75-year lifespan on average. Because this woman is like rotten milk, man. It's time to put her in the garbage can. I don't wish any harm upon her, but just get out of our lives, witch. Good Lord. Russians didn't get Trump elected. The people did, you monster. Let's continue.
Think of what that means. And so the lies, the accusations, the memes. You know, I was at Yale.
Yeah, the free speech.
3 weeks ago with John Kerry, and a young Yale faculty came up and he goes, I just have to tell you this. He said, I logged onto YouTube to look at something, and before what I was looking for began to play, there was just this flash, a 10-second flash about you being a pedophile and the Pizzagate lie. He said, and then it disappeared. And this, young man says to me, he says, I think I'm pretty good on the internet and the computer. I said, I tried to find it. I couldn't find it anywhere. And just think about the impact that one lie, the Pizzagate lie, had.
Hit pause again. That was a total setup. We had them dead to rights. We had John Podesta, the Aleister Crowley, the rituals, the kids in the hot tub, and then CNN, New York Times, and Washington Post all targeted the pizza place that they all went to make everybody cover that like a mockingbird acts like its wings broken, so that you go away from the nest. I mean, lady, your own deputy chief of staff got busted trying to ship kids out of Haiti. Your first job was being a lawyer for convicted pedophiles. I mean, the whole system, Harvey Weinstein, everything you do is about that. You're a monster. Hollywood sexualizing children. All this. And so she just brings this up. Continue.
A stolen email about a little fundraiser at a little pizza place that the Russians and their allies, including, I would argue, people online who were promoting Trump.
Who's she talking about?
Took and made into a weaponized attack, to the point that a disturbed young man in North Carolina got in his car and drove to this little pizza place.
Hey, pause again. So you lied about WMDs and millions died. And you did all this other stuff and all the other, but some crazy guy went in the pizza place because CNN said go to the pizza place. And then you said that I said go to the pizza place. Let's continue.
His AR-15 and went into it looking for the children that were kept chained in the basement. Now, there was no basement. There were no children. That goes without saying. He shot up the place before he was apprehended.
And pause. Actually, I talked to everybody involved. No one ever really said that happened. We just heard that one shot. The guy's an actor, too. I'm sure he's a great guy. Let's continue.
His consequences. Think of the manifestos, the crazy manifestos written by the killer in New Zealand. The killer just this past weekend over Passover in California.
Oh, hey, pause. Don't mention the girl transitioning to a man in Colorado. Don't mention that. It's just all crazy. There's all this death, a few deaths here, a few deaths there. That's all your fault, but not Hillary's. No, she's good.
This kind of conspiracy, fetishizing, the lies, it has real world consequences. So we've got to figure it out.
Pause again. Back it up. Yeah, real world consequences. You don't get elected. You're a monster. You're in bed with the Russians, the Chi-Coms, everybody else. You're a globalist. You're anti-American. You're done. You're over. You're not in power anymore. You're over. But you watch the newscast, man, they were acting like Jesus Christ sat down. Continue.
Stand up against it. But, I sleep well at night because, look, I testified for 11 hours. What do I care?
All right. In interest of taking your phone calls, I'm not going to get to the other clips. Hillary Clinton says Republicans must choose between rule of law and rule of Trump. She's the one that's all illegal servers, rigging everything, controlling Loretta Lynch, the head of Justice Department, and just all. We'd have to list it all. The other clip, Hillary says Fox News is rotting people's brains and talks about censorship. We're just going to go to your phone calls instead. And I got so much more we haven't gotten to yet. Surprise, surprise. as Goldman Powell would say, top Sanders advisor convicted of embezzling union funds. That's what leftists do. They get control of your town or city, your school, your university, your club, and they rob it. That's what his wife does. It's what he does. It's what these criminals do. They rob people, period. Briefly, X2, you've got to learn why it's so powerful with a free bottle of X3 that's amazing. 25% off the X2, get a free bottle of X3. That ends early next week, so we're running low on X2. Won't get more in for about 2 months, so we'll go back to regular price for a couple months until the new stuff comes in. InfoWarsLive.com. Experience it for yourself, ladies and gentlemen. And the new highest quality B12 on the market from our research. There may be something better, but this is the best we know of. That's Ultra 12, double the methylcobalamin, the highest quality B12 out there. No reviews yet because it just came out this week. It's amazing. It's 50% off Ultra 12 out of the gates. There is a mission. I'm asking you to accept it and take action. We've had such a huge effect over the years with our T-shirts, but we haven't had a hit T-shirt in over a year. Yeah, we sell a few hundred here, a few thousand there, but when we had 50,000 Hillary for President shirts on the street, or Obama Joker 100,000 on the street, it changed the world and it funded the InfoWar. All of our apparel is 50% off. That's all the T-shirts, all the ball caps, all everything. So again, I would encourage listeners to understand, if you're in a right-wing or nationalist area, you'll get pats on the back, a cup of coffee probably bought for you wearing an InfoWars shirt, meet a lot of like-minded people. It's a real adventure. But if you're in a leftist area, they don't speak Latin. They don't know what Molon Labe means. They don't know what a Attorney Response Team is. They don't know what a Don't California, My USA is. That's some of our new shirts. So that's a fun thing, is just meet like-minded people and spread the word. But if you wear an InfoWars.com shirt in some leftist areas around universities or whatever, you might get stabbed or hit over the head with a baseball bat or whatever. So caution when wearing these. But you know, our audience really doesn't run. So I made all these T-shirts that don't have InfoWars on them, and people like them, but nothing like they do the ones that are loud and proud. InfoWars.com, or that Trump Medusa T-shirt's my favorite. But the best selling is the in-your-face, big, bright red InfoWars.com shirt. That's the one everybody wants right there. We have the Don't Tread on Me. We have Mean Like a Wolverine. We have a bunch of great ball caps, 1776, 50% off all apparel. And they point out it's annual. We've not done this, I looked it up, in over a year. Because listen, the dollar isn't what it used to be, but everything is 50% off. We go and look at what the purchase order is, what it was, and give you literally 50% off. This is the best time, and these shirts freak the leftist out, the globalist out, and it helps fund this great operation. All apparel, 50% off at InfoWarsStore.com. Haven't done this in over a year. InfoWarsStore.com takes you right there, or 888-253-3139. Wear your colors loud and proud at InfoWarsStore.com.